24 hours ago, I recorded a video right here where I did another one of my dunking on Drake sessions. And I know that's going to get, I don't know, 80,000 views. It has like 60,000 in 24 hours, and that's great. But listen, that was for them, okay? That was for the other people who are not clicking on this. This one is for you. This one's for me. This is for us, the people who really love hip-hop music, who really love rap, and especially the craft of writing rhymes. That's what I want to focus on when I talk about this album, this EP by Ransom, Cabrini Green. Because I'm happy to do that, but this is what I really love. Because what's the point of dunking on Drake? And this is one thing that kind of bugs me. A lot of people who dunk on Drake and talk about how bad he is for hip hop and rap and all that stuff don't even listen to rap music. So it's like, what are you protecting? What are you fighting for? You know, this is what we're fighting for. At least this is what I'm fighting for when I talk about and I try to lift up good rap music and I try to find what's interesting. That's what I'm going to be doing. So you might think, you know, with an album called Cabrini Green, maybe I would talk about those projects in Chicago. Maybe I'd talk about other rappers from there. Or more likely, I would just spend half an hour drawing some kind of pained metaphor between the album and two of the best horror movies ever made, Candyman and the Candyman remake. Hey everybody, I love horror movies. Why are those not seen as being on the same level as Nightmare on Elm Street? I mean, really, truly great movies, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not even really going to go over the entire album, even though the whole thing is well wrapped, well produced. I want to focus on one song. I don't want to focus on one song. I want to focus on one verse. I don't even want to focus on one verse. I want to focus on one half of one verse. Because one thing that Ransom does, perhaps better than anyone else who's rapping right now, or as well as anyone who is rapping right now, and perhaps as well as almost anybody who has ever rapped, is the skill of rhyming. And that's what I want to focus on. If you've never read Adam Bradley's The Book of Rhymes, it's a great way to understand the different kinds of rhymes and the way that they work, the joy that they have. And what makes Ransom so great is that he's not lyrical miracle. He's not pained at all. He's always very conscious of the rhythm and the sounds that are coming out of his mouth. And we're going to study that in some great detail so that you'll hear an entire verse, like basically the entire album. Basically the entire album is composed of multisyllabic verses. He almost never just rhymes one syllable to another. But it's not oppressive. You don't feel like you have to be on Lyric Genius or you have to have one of those things where all the rhymes are lit up. There's an effortlessness to it, which I think just comes from hours and hours and hours and hours of work. There's been some debate over the last couple of weeks, whatever it is, since Conductor Williams dropped that Fighting Irish Freestyle by Drake. Because some people really congratulated Drake for having a lot of lyrics and a lot of like a whole rhyme run on the shun sound, right? Liberation, that kind of sound. Some people said, you know, I hate it when people just rhyme the same word over and over again. Other people said they loved it. I'm going to be sharing you just this opening verse off of this album, and I'll show you how you can do it in a way where you have an extended, but it doesn't overstay its welcome, and it changes. Let's get to it. So I'm going to do a couple things. First, I'm going to just read the lyrics to you. Okay? Now, as far as the song goes, you know, it's a gentle sound with these kind of just, oh yeah, behind. But I'll just read this to you, and then we'll go over it. I'm raw like coke from Medellin. Some shit you've never seen. My words like Arthur Better Beeve, with a head of steam. Blood from a rapper makes better streams. You better leave, 'cause there's no honor amongst a den of thieves. There's no remorse for the enemies. Was meant to freeze. The temperature set to 10 degrees. My heart's numb. That's where the poetry starts from. It's sort of like music from the string of a harp strung. It's angelic 'cause Rand said it. 2 J's up like that man Reddick. Blood on a cracked lens, the view on your cam reddish. 'Cause I only pack tens like it was a damn fetish. I'm not with your whack trends, that shit is pandemic. I just gonna rap gems, rare jewels, and band relics. Just give that man credit. So let's break that down. Yes, I did it again. I did one of my little things where I try to really indicate to you exactly how it is done. And I try to break it down by showing you the complexity and the joy of this whole run. What I did was, this is a whole series of 3 rhymed syllables, okay? Really, it's basic, okay. So it's sort of 2. So it's the beginning sound of me, of Medellin, and then the end sound of in. The middle syllable is kind of fungible. That can be the most slanted, which means not quite rhyming or rhyming because of the way it's pronounced. But I think that's important because that's what keeps it from being too precious or too overworked. It ends up being that it's almost like that middle syllable is just there to provide some kind of rhythmic punch. Because don't forget, when rappers rap, they're using their voice as a drum along with the drums. So they can take the town of Medellin and turn it into Medellin. So what's amazing is he does a whole series of not just multisyllabic rhyme runs, but mosaic rhymes. I always give the same example from Notorious B.I.G., Hypnotize, Escargot, My Cargo. All right, escargot is 1 word, my cargo is 3. That's a mosaic rhyme where you rhyme 1 word with multisyllables with multiple words. What I did over here is I wrote down how many different words. I'm sorry, I have a hard time seeing myself backwards. I wrote down how many words these 3 rhyme sounds are put into. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 1. Okay? I'm raw like Coke from Medellin. 1 word, the 3 syllables. Some shit you've never seen. That's in 2 words. My words is like Arthur better beeve. This is not on Genius. These lyrics are not on Genius. How did I figure out that he said Arthur better beef, you know? I don't know boxing. I sent him a DM. He told me. You know, that's one fun thing about this channel. I am in contact with some rappers, and being able to ask them, hey, what's that word? It's pretty cool. I did that once with Rap Ferrera, and he's like, yeah, I don't put my lyrics on the internet. So I'm like, all right. I'll just go fuck myself then. Okay, so better be, that's 1 word with a head of steam. So all of a sudden we have 3 words, head of steam, better be. So he goes from a multisyllabic run on 1 word. It's insane. Do you see? So it's Medellin, 1 word, never seen, 2 words, better be, 1 word, head of steam, 3 words. Blood from a rapper makes better streams. Also, just a good bar, right? Better streams, that's 2 words. You better leave, that's 2 words, because there's no honor amongst a den of thieves, that's 3 words. There is no remorse for the enemies, was meant to freeze, temperature set to 10 degrees. So not only are these words all doing these all doing these fantastic multisyllabic mosaic little tricks things here, but also it's connected. It's not really a trick, it's art, it's technique, it's craft. Meant to freeze, temperature set to 10 degrees, so he's talking about his life and feeling as though he was set up to fail and like the world wanted him to fail, so meant to freeze, temperature set to 10 degrees. And this is the thing that he does that Drake did not do. And I think, listen, if Drake has to choose between rapping poorly or having 1 rhyme scheme, that's fine. But look at the break. Look at the way that Ransom, and I don't know how much he works this. I don't know if he has like a notebook and he spends hours in doing this. I don't know if this is instinctual, but he's going to go on another multisyllabic run, okay? And right after this. But he has a little reprieve here where each line gets longer. And he's just throwing out this multisyllabic that's only two things that rhyme. Heart, numb, starts from, harp, strum. But look at the way it extends as it goes out. My heart's numb. 3 words to get to that rhyme. That's where this poetry starts from. Again, he's connecting it to this concept that it was growing up in the cold where he was meant to freeze in 10 degrees. Heart's numb, that's where it starts from. And then he makes you really work and really wait. It's sort of like music from the strings of a harp strum. So he just took you through this whole thing, and your brain, you're listening. And this is the thing, like, you hear these things even if you're not thinking about them. Adam Bradley explains it really well, and you especially feel them with the rhythm, because the beat's pretty soft, the beat's pretty breezy, the beat's not super hard drums, but these lyrics, you've got this head of steam, better streams, better leave, den of themes, enemies, meant to freeze, 10 degrees, and then my heart's numb, where the poetry starts from. It's sort of like music from the strings of a heart strum. He gives you a little reprieve before he kicks into the next half of this half of the first verse, where again, he's just doing these ridiculous things. It's angelic. It's angelic because Rand said it. So like he's making angelic, that's one word, and then he's rhyming Rand said it. Rand is in Ransom, who is him. It's angelic because Rand said it. Awesome. I mean, it and ick, that's a perfect example of a slant rhyme. There's slant rhymes and there's perfect rhymes. Perfect rhymes are actually usually less interesting than slant rhymes, because slant rhymes mean you have the same vowel sound and the same consonant sound. Angelic, because Rand said it. 2 J's up, like that man Redick, talking about the basketball player named J.J. Redick, who is the coach of a mildly successful basketball team, who had a bunch of championships in Milwaukee and claims as though those are the same as championships in Los Angeles. Listen, I'm a Celtics fan, so if I didn't troll Lakers fans, that would be insulting. Even though LA is going through a lot, you got to have that rivalry, you know? Things will get back to normal. I am thinking a lot about my friends in Los Angeles. So that's J.J. Redick. Blood on a cracked lens, the view on your Cam Reddish. Just first of all, like that's, come on, right? Do you see? Just what a beautiful lyric. Blood on a cracked lens. Like, what's he thinking? Blood on the cracked lens, the view on your Cam Reddish. And this is the thing that he's doing here, is he's adding something new here. So a cracked lens is actually a new rhyme. This has nothing to do with angelic Rand said it, man Reddick. Cam Reddish, cracked lens. So he's creating a new rhythm. So there's a whole series of triple rhymes. Rand said it, man Reddick, Cam Reddish, and then to create some kind of sort of like a through line, almost like a way you can see your way through a verse. He adds this other set of rhymes, which are not going to pay off on every single line. So I tried to put these in circles here. You see? I feel like I'm a crazy person, but you're with me. If you're with me, you're with me. If you're not with me, Jesus Christ, this must be a terrible video for you. All right, so like blood on a cracked lens, the view on your Cam Reddish, because I only pack tens like it was a damn fetish. So he pays off, right? He pays off this new rhyme of cracked lens with pack tens here, and then gets this man Reddish, man Reddick, with the damn fetish. Again, damn fetish is 2 words, and it's still going back to angelic Rand said it. I'm not with your whack trends, that shit's a pandemic. So the whack trends, once again, pays off with this other new rhyme, this kind of sub-rhyme, this double rhyme as opposed to the triple rhyme, which creates a different rhythm, because pack 10 sounds different than damn fetish. Damn fetish, Rand said it, man Reddick, pack 10, whack 10. Right? You get it? That's 3 versus 2. Those are different sounds. My 2-year-old plays with the count all day from Sesame Street. Ah, ah, ah. One says 2, ah, ah, ah. One says 3, ah, ah, ah. I'm just gonna wrap gems, rare jewels, and band relics. Come on. All right? This is what we're fighting for, everybody. Okay, of course, we're also fighting for all the wonderful things that Kendrick Lamar is fighting for with culture and civilization and representation and all that stuff. But just for the art, the art that's lost, the thing that I used to feel listening to Rakim for the first time, the thing that I felt listening to Jay-Z and taking him seriously, because my introduction to Jay-Z was Hard Knock Life. That was the first song I ever heard, and I only heard the chorus, and I kind of thought, how good can this be? I had to be won over by actually hearing the song and being like, holy, what the hell is this man doing with words? Oh, I need to buy this album, okay? That's what this is. This is Jay-Z level rapping. just happens to be on an EP from an underground rapper who's released like 8 EPs in the past 12 months. Just give that man credit. That's where I want to stop with that verse, because that's what you can do, and you can do that throughout the entire album. We have these triple, like this insanity that I'm seeing here, you can do with everything, or you can not at all. You can just let it go. You can just not pay attention to it at all and just listen to it and enjoy. Next song's called Santoro Live. Great horned, like marching like drums. This song is not as dedicated to the rhymes, it's more dedicated to punchlines. You understand? Because that's the other thing, is that rappers have to be good at this stuff, but they also have to be good at punchlines. It's almost like he's doing like a tech demo to show all the stuff that he can do as a rapper, even though he doesn't need to. And he talks a lot about Nicky Santoro, and of course, Casino is the best Martin Scorsese movie. There's people who think that Goodfellas is better than Casino, and there's people who are correct. Casino is a better and more interesting, fleshed out concept. Same writer, Mitch Pileggi, same basic cast, same director, but oh my God. Anyways, I love any time anyone gives credit to Casino. No hostages, some nice high singing, just very most of the music on here is pretty soft, kind of like disco strings, no drums, and then this whole thing, I've been working with, watching a lot of, and talking a fair amount to a fellow YouTuber, Curtis King, who talks a lot about the music industry and the way that it doesn't work and the way that streaming does not work for rap artists. And I'm going to send him this song. I'm like, have you heard this? Because so much of this is everything that he talks about on his streams and like how hard it is. Pragmatic is more about his value and where to, a beautiful song about where to live, got to turn to those streets. Talks about Demi Moore and has a whole line about Street Fighter and Blanca. A lot of fun punchlines in here. Give Enough is this great kind of like 80s cheesy soft rock. Crazy Ransom verse on here as well. Do you judge a man by the strength of his enemies? Do you? Do you judge a man by the strength of his enemies? I don't know. Tell me in the comments. Then the album ends with Torn to Peace. The second track produced by Nicholas Craven. If you don't know Nicholas Craven, Quebecois producer, one of my favorite producers. He has a way of producing and finding samples and manipulating them, kind of like Ransom, where like he manipulates them in a way that is very subtle and not very flashy, but he knows exactly when to extend a sample, when to cut it off, when to allow it to be a little bit janky. Awesome sample here. Great drum line underneath. Just, again, Nicholas Craven is showing his subtle mastery, and then I could do the exact same thing I did here. I'm trying to keep this video under 20 minutes, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to read it and with my voice. I don't have Ransom's voice. I have an annoying kind of nasally voice. I don't sound like a cool rapper dude. That's all right. I'll tell you what's hell to me. Living life seldomly. I'll make you feel these bars like you sitting in the cell with me. Tell me what you felt in me. Your talent hit the target that no one else can hit. A genius hits a target that no one else can see. Talent hits a target. A genius hits a target that no one can see. Hey, that's going to be sticking in my head for the rest of my life. And I'm going to be like, man, who, because it'll be 5 years, I'll be like 5 years older. My brain will be all fuzzy. I'll be like, who said that line? Play those trick cards you shuffled and you dealt to me, higher than the 12th degree. I'll help you see. If you want to live life, you got to do it selfishly. If you can't take care of yourself, how you supposed to be helping me? Talk about my money, but never really felt the need. When you pass your pockets, guarantee you're well received. Used to use my irons for my sandwiches to melt the cheese. Now I'm on the islands with cannabis. You smell the trees. Words so vivid you probably thought you felt the breeze. I'm aware of all my selfish needs. I like this because this is also the sort of general position that Ransom takes as a rapper, which is interesting, which is a fairly self-reliant, borderline libertarian, semi-conservative position of sort of like do it yourself, which is, he's saying you need to live selfishly because, you can't. And so on the one hand, I disagree with this philosophy because it can lead to a sort of callous indifference towards the pain of others. On the other hand, I completely agree with it because people very often will not take care of themselves and they will murder themselves and think that they're helping out someone else when in reality they're just tearing everyone down. Which is my short way of saying, hey, if you need therapy and you have kids, go to therapy. Take the time. If you have to miss a soccer game to go to therapy, miss the soccer game. Anyways, but I like it because it shows his life, and if you follow him on Instagram, he lives on some island somewhere. All the pictures of him, it looks like he's like just living in some kind of rum commercial. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where he lives, but he seems to be happy with his family. He seems to be happy with his kids. It seems to be that he's gone from this beautiful image that he has of using his irons and sandwiches to melt the cheese of a cheese sandwich. It's now living on the islands and you can smell the breeze, like whatever, whether or not one entirely agrees with the worldview that he's putting forth here, one cannot argue with the result that he is living the life that he wants to live according to his own code. In which case, how can you complain? How can you disagree with that? How can you agree with someone living a good life of an artist according to their own code? So yeah, those are my thoughts on Ransom. I don't review everything. He did a project with Conway last year, and it was great. I listened to it, but it's like, just there's only so much I can talk about how great these guys are. I have to always find a new and interesting way to do it. So I hope you found this interesting. Tears from a Third Eye by Ransom is the first verse, and yeah, go check him out if you haven't. Man, it's hip hop is awesome. All right, there's the camera.